Hi, I'm Alan Katz, and I'd like to talk to you about coming on your podcast and having a great conversation together. My mission is to make the world a better place through storytelling, and I don't think there's a better storytelling medium than podcasting. I love that it's untamed. I love its directness. I love its intimacy. Most people listen to us via headphones or earbuds. That means they put our voices right between their ears and inside their heads. Storytelling doesn't get any more intimate or personal than that. The truth is, I have several different podcasts out there, and I'd be happy to talk to you on your podcast about any of them. My goal as a guest on your podcast is to make you look like a genius for having me on. Regardless of which of my podcasts we talk about, I'll bring to the table an engaging guest who's happy to answer any and all questions, and even happier still to launch into stories based on them. My first podcast, the How Not to Make a Movie podcast, is about my show business career. I've written and produced movies and TV shows like HBO's iconic Tales from the Crypt. The How Not to Make a Movie podcast is an inside baseball conversation between me and the filmmakers I've worked with about the nuts and bolts of the movie making process. We celebrate the craft of filmmaking and what happens when sometimes all our craft turns to crap. For what it's worth, Entertainment Weekly called our first season of the How Not to Make a Movie podcast the best film podcast of 2022. I'd love to talk about The Donor, a DNA horror story. It's the absolutely true story about Hal, who worked his way through medical school in the mid 1980s as an anonymous sperm donor. Jump forward 27 years. Hal joined 23andMe curious about his health genes. It never occurred to him the implications of submitting his DNA to a growing DNA database, which is what 23andMe is. Hal inadvertently lost his donor anonymity. Suddenly, 7 total strangers found Daddy, except 6 of them had no idea that their actual biological father was Hal, a sperm donor. The third podcast I'd love to talk to you about on your podcast is the newest. It's called The Hall Closet, and it's true crime like you've never heard it before, told entirely from the inside. Donna Hall grew up in a lower tier crime family outside of Philadelphia in the 1980s. The Halls weren't the Corleones, but they made national headlines all the same. Donna's mom, Phyllis, went to prison for 6 months for child endangerment. Her stepdad, John Hall, was the Philadelphia Police Department's favorite snitch. John Hall put more than 25 people behind bars on totally bogus confessions. That included John's own stepson, Herb, and a man named Walter Ogrod, who spent 24 years on death row because of a bogus John Hall confession. See what I mean? There's so much to talk about. And I look forward to podcasting with you about any or all of it. Or we can just talk about storytelling or life or anything. Like I said, my goal is to make the world a better place through storytelling. Let's do it together. I absolutely look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you soon, I hope.